Don't worry, just because we did some rebranding doesn't mean Caposa's Corner is going anywhere. And this week, we've got everything from a nasty amateur KO in Peru to a featherweight title at Cage Fury Fighting Championships that is just a back and forth war. And we may or may not have some more broken limbs. Yeah, if I have to watch it, you have to watch it. Also, we're introducing a few new segments this week, and the first is our fan comment of the week, which goes to Merc from last week, saying that the Kimura snap was louder than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and Anna's opponent didn't even flinch. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like Spider-Man going, Mr. Caposa, I don't feel so good. I hope she recovers quickly and fully. Yeah, that one was tough to watch last week, but we agree and hope she recovers quickly, and don't forget to leave a comment down below of this video because you just might be featured in next week's episode. What's going on, everyone? It's the Casual, Lawton Veerkant, and this is Caposa's Corner. Kicking us off this week, we're heading to Elite MMA Championship 9 in Germany for one fight. Here, we have a lightweight fight that sees Bekru Zhukurov with a 15-5 record, and he's taking on Paulo Bananada, who has a 27-18 record. Yeah, the dude's been an active fighter since 2007, but one thing we've learned from the show is that doesn't always mean you're gonna win. And as we're nearing the 2-minute mark of the third round, that theory just gets solidified yet again. Oh yeah, a high kick to shake him, followed by a left hook that catches his jaw beautifully and just folds him down to the canvas. Both of these fighters were coming off of a loss, and Zhukurov did what it takes, regardless of his 25 lesser fight experience, to land this great knockout, securing the win and improving his record to 16-5. Next up, we're going to take a look at Erez FC5 in France, where we have two featured fights to show you. For the first, we have a new segment that's as simple as Caposa's hand-picked submission of the week. This is a featherweight matchup between Marisa Loke, sitting very nicely at a 6-0, and her opponent, Karolina Sobek, also has a clean record of 3-0. Now, we've featured submissions of the week before, but moving forward, we're going to be highlighting one specifically each week, and this one got the award this week because just 30 seconds into the second round, Sobek does this.
Just like she is now. And after that first success, she's going to go to it again. She has two submissions like that, and again.
Didn't look like much, right? But look again, after the takedown, she shifts her legs to get into the scarf hold position, and then also locks up her arm between her legs, and as soon as she begins cranking on both, Loke has no choice but to tap. Really impressive stuff for a fighter that is only in their fourth fight. Oh, and this win makes 3 of her 4 wins all via submission. So with a little more experience under her belt, she could become a real danger on the ground. But congratulations to Sobek on this nice submission win that improves her record to 4-0. For our second fight at Erez FC5, it is time for Caposa's KO of the week. Here we have a heavyweight matchup that sees Xavier Lassou, who's making his pro debut, and he's up against Freddy Camayo, who is also making his debut, but has 99 kickboxing fights under his belt. So yeah, fighting isn't exactly brand new to him. Now, I've said this before, but I mean it when I say this fight was an all-out war. From the second the first round bell rings, these guys are just exchanging blows, and actually Camayo seems to be on the receiving end of most despite his kickboxing experience. There's a few times in the first round that it's hard to tell if he was getting rocked or if both guys are just absolutely gassed from throwing these huge hits, but they both do survive the first round, and once the second starts, it's almost identical to the first, except for this.
There's going to be some angry coaches after this one.
A knee to the temple, followed by one uppercut, a very slow motion fall, and one ground hook before the ref steps in and calls this fight. There's very few things as great as a heavyweight war in MMA, and that is exactly what we got with these two. Although they were both making their pro debut, it seems like both guys have a few things they need to work on, but Camayo ultimately lands this win in just under a minute of the second round, securing his first MMA win. Moving on, we're gonna go visit Brazilian Fighting Series 8, where we have one fight. This is a featherweight bout that has Luan Pedroso with a 7-2 record, and he's taking on Larian Douglas, who has a 7-4 record. We've got another fight that ends up making it to the second round, and with only a minute left in the round, someone's gonna have to make something work if they don't want this to go to a decision.
Cara, ambos atletas visivelmente.
Bom cruzado, Luan sentiu, caiu apagado ali.
How's a counter left hook followed by 3 ground and pounds to turn the lights out sound? Because that's exactly what Douglas does, and we are sadly cursed by the replay team for not showing the counter left hook from another angle, but you can see that this final blow on the ground was the kill shot that forces the ref to step in, and this fight is over. Definitely not a bad way to secure a second round win, as Douglas does just that and improves his record to 8-4. Now we're going to take a look at amateur Desafio 23 in Peru, where we have the amateur fight that I mentioned in the intro between Juan Castro, who is making his amateur debut, and his opponent, Jason Cardoso, who is also making his debut. So for 2.5 minutes of the first round, it's a pretty standard amateur MMA fight, but with just 10 seconds on the clock, well, this happens.
Oh, no.
Yeah, head kick KO that just collapses him and folds him right back down to the canvas. This is definitely not something you see in most amateur fights, especially when both guys are just making their debut, but Castro saw the opportunity and capitalized on it greatly with just seconds left in the first round and secures his first amateur win. Up next, we're heading to the 247 Fighting Championships Brawl in the Berg 11 event in Pennsylvania for one fight. This one is more of an honorable mention due to limited footage, so just take a look first. Yeah, so this is a lightweight bout between Kahim Murray, who now has an even 4-4 record, and the gentleman doing the one jab knockdown, well, that's Kama Worthy, a name you probably recognize from his UFC run from 2019 to 2021, and this win improves his record to a 17-9. I wish we had more angles of this because that initial jab just throws him down to the canvas, and it's not until this final ground hook that the lights just go off. This is one of those ones we just had to show, but congrats to Worthy on securing this win. Off to visit our friends at Cage Fury Fighting Championships 107 in New Jersey for one fight. So here's another new segment we're introducing this week, and it is Caposa's Prospect of the Week. Here we have the main event featherweight title fight between Egivaldo Carvalho, who has a 6-3 record, as well as 2 fights in Bellator in the past, and he's taking on current and defending champ Blake Builder, who has a 5-0-1 record, and is our focus for Prospect of the Week. So before I get into why he's our prospect, let's take a look at the fight. The first round is definitely not looking good for Builder, as he gets sent down twice within the first 2 minutes. But that doesn't stop him, and we end up making it to the third round, where halfway through, it seems like the tides have changed.
Builder immediately on it again. The right hand drop. Could this be it? Builder trying to finish. Big shot, and that does it.
Talk about fighting through some adversity, but the fight isn't even the biggest part of it. Builder has displayed impressive boxing, endurance, and even his grappling skills, which is how he won the CFFC belt back in December. But sadly, just a month ago, his younger brother Braden took his own life, which is a battle he was fighting when walking into this cage. And he even spoke about it in his post-fight interview.
A month ago, my little brother took his own life. As somebody who's gone through depression, as somebody who's dealt with anxiety and mental health, you know, CM, I just want to be an advocate and just let you know that I'm fighting for you. It gives me extra strength, you know, this is what I live for.
He's not just our prospect of the week because of his impressive 6-0-1 record now, or him still being the CFFC featherweight champion. It's the determination and fight that he has inside and outside of the cage that makes him successful in this sport, and it is not going to be a surprise if we see him on the Contender Series or even the UFC at some point this year. Still going, we're going to visit Art of Scrap 4 in Indiana, where we have 2 fights to show you. For the first, we have a lightweight matchup that sees Roy Garza in the red tape and with just a 1-0 pro record, and he's taking on Muhammad Al-Kinani in the blue tape and also with just a 1-0 record. Back to our normal schedule of first round finishes, it isn't looking very good for Kinani, as he's trying to survive a rear naked choke for almost a minute and a half, and he even appears to pass out when he falls to the canvas, but he doesn't and he survives, and once we get back to the feet, well, he decides he wants this fight to be over.
Ooh.
A right hook from hell that just snaps his neck and freezes him as he falls to the canvas, and thankfully the ref steps in before any unnecessary damage is done. Seems like this might unofficially be the week of comebacks, as Kinani shows us yet another one after he was almost submitted multiple times, but took advantage of the opportunity once they got to the feet and lands this beautiful right hook to secure the win and keeps his record clean at 2-0. For our second fight at Art of Scrap 4, we have the main event welterweight matchup that has Rafael Bastos in the white shorts and with a holy shit 42-20-1 record. That is a lot of fights. But he's up against former Bellator lightweight champion Will Brooks, who has a 22-5-1 record, as well as experience in the UFC and PFL. Now, I promise we aren't trying to make this a reoccurring theme on these videos, but here's your cringe warning because we have another limb being broken this week, and, well, it's not much easier to watch than last week's Kimura.
Will's hands high. Last time he was out.
Oh,
no!
Yeah, just ouch. I don't know what hurts me more, the sound or watching that checked kick just snap his leg. Thankfully, Rafael is doing fine now, and he returned to Brazil and even told the promoter that he wants to return and fight again as soon as he makes a full recovery. Talk about the heart in these fighters this week, but Brooks does secure this win via checked leg kick in just 19 seconds, improving his record to 23-5-1. For our last fight this week, we're visiting our good friends at LFA 129, where we have the main event heavyweight title fight that sees current champion Thomas Peterson sitting at a nice 5-0 record, and his opponent Waldo Cortez Acosta also has a 5-0 record, as well as one win in Bellator just last year. Caposa said that Acosta is yet another prospect to be on the lookout for, because it looks like he has a bright future ahead. Even though he had a few close calls in the first 2 rounds, he does make it to the 3rd round, and with just barely over a minute left in this one, Acosta decides to put a stamp on this fight. Yet another comeback. This left hook to straight just absolutely stuns Peterson, and after that, the swarm is just too much as he falls to the canvas and the ref steps in. Definitely a solid performance for Acosta as he lands this 3rd round win, improves his record to a very nice 6-0, and is your new LFA heavyweight champion. We've got one more change to notify you all about, and that is this screen that will appear at the end of each Caposa's Corner video moving forward, and we need you all to vote on your favorites down below in the comments, because at the end of each month, we're gonna let you all know what the community favorites were for the KOs, sub, and prospects of each month. But as always, these videos aren't possible without the help of Caposa, so please go give him a follow on Twitter at Grabaka_Hitman for more content like this, and you can also support him by checking out his Patreon at patreon.com/Caposa. And we want to always say a huge thank you to all of these amazing organizations for hosting these events year-round for our viewing pleasure, and to the fighters, winners, and losers, and we will see you all on the next video. Peace!